If you'd like to learn how to make your player glide from high places in your Obby, keep watching and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Welcome to Roblox Snippets. Alright, I'll show you how to make a local script that will let your players glide. So we need something to glide off, and I thought we might just use the spawn point in the workspace. So if you click on that and then come down to its height, let's change its height to be, say, 20. And then come up to home and we'll move it up off the ground so it's level with the ground, and we can jump off our spawn point. Alright, to make our glide script, come down to our starter player and starter character scripts, and we're going to add a local script, and we'll change the name of this to be glide local script and come over into our script. Alright, let's create a function. So local function, and we'll simply call this glide. Now we want to run this function continuously to check whether the player is falling in our game. So we'll use the run service to do that. So up the top, create a variable called local rs, short for run service, and game get service, and we want the run service. Now down below your function, type rs.stepped, and this will run every frame, so 60 times a second, very quickly. Connect a function, not the function, the glide function that we just created up here. So glide, and that will take care of it running over and over for us. So the part that we want to check, and remember that we are in our character, is the humanoid root part. So we'll create a variable for the humanoid root part, and that will be equal to script.parent, which is the character. Alright, so that's where this ends up, and then we're looking for the humanoid root part. Now, the humanoid root part, the bit that we're actually concerned with, it's called the assembly linear velocity, which is a very long property, and it makes your code stretch right off the side of the screen. So we're going to get that property in a special way. We'll create a variable here, so local, and call it ALV. Whoops, moved up a line. ALV, short for assembly linear velocity, and over here we're going to put a string there. Now, assembly linear velocity. So it's very long, and make sure you get the spelling right, but once you've typed it once here, that's the only time you'll need to type it. Okay? And right below this, the only other variable we're going to make use of, we're going to create one called speed and set it to -3. And you can put a comment here how fast the player falls. Right, now if you increase this to say -10, they'll fall faster, and if you go into positives, the player will actually go up instead of down, which is sort of not what we want. So now that we have this these variables, we can come inside of our function here and write a very simple piece of code. So we're going to say if the humanoid root part, and then add a set of square brackets after this and add in our AVL. Alright, so this is the same as typing humanoid root part dot assembly linear velocity. Alright, but it's a much shorter way to do it. And then outside of the square brackets, add a dot y, and then less than 0, and then. Now what this means is the y, which is moving up in the air, okay, if this is less than 0, which it's negative, that'll mean that the player is falling, and that's where we want to make them glide. Alright, so to do that, we type HRP and then a set of square brackets and ALV, and then move over and type equals, and we're going to create a vector3.new, and you'll see X, Y, and Z. So we actually want to make use of this only X. So if you take a copy of our first one up here with the Y and simply change this to an X and then add a comma, the Y number is going to be our speed up here. So we type in speed, and then if you copy again and change the last value to Z, then we have our X, Y, and Z. All right, so this is the humanoid root part, assembly linear velocity dot X, and the same over here for Z. And that is all there is to the code. All right, so come up and click on File and Save, and let's give it a play. Right, I've spawned in on the top of my giant spawn point, and if I run and jump off, you'll see that I can control my character left, right, and they glide to the ground. For my main game Obby, if you've been following along, I'm not going to cover that here. However, you can copy the script and put it straight into your starter character, and everything should work just fine. So I look forward to seeing you in future videos. If you found this video useful, subscribe now. For more information about my online courses, go to mrbrendonross.com.